You know, there's a lot of groups of men out there, isn't there? You know, the construction industry, we all have banter in the construction industry, and guys working on the railway, and football players and rugby players. We all have that changing room banter as we do in the army and the police and the fire service. And sometimes the banter's a way of masking your problems, isn't it? You know, and you know, in the army, the drinking culture was a big thing. If you're a bloke and you've got a problem, you go to the pub and you'll have a bit of banter and a bit of a joke. And you might mention one or two things, but don't go too deep into it. And I think, yeah, during the pandemic, obviously, the opportunity to go to the pub with the lads or go and play a team game and be in the changing rooms and have a bit of banter with the lads, and that has not been available. But I'll just say to any man, you know, just speak out if you are having problems with anxiety or bereavement or depression. Just speak about it, and there's no shame in speaking about what issues you're having. We all have these issues. You know, I put myself on this, or people put me on this pedestal about this being this inspiration and motivational guy, but I have bad days. You know, I have days where sometimes I don't want to get out of bed. I'm a bit depressed and I'm anxious about what's going to happen next in my life. You know, doing my speaking, I'm not getting booked for gigs. How am I going to manage with that? How am I going to pay my bills? You know, it works up inside you, and I think by having groups that you can go to and speak, or watch things on online platform where you can hear someone else's story of how they dealt with certain issues in their lives, can then help you deal with issue in your lives. And we've all got lived experience, haven't we? We've all, you know, it's like a book, isn't it? We've all got chapters in our book, haven't we? And we've not wrote the next chapter yet, have we, in our book? But the one we're currently at the moment, it might be tough. It might be a tough part of that book, but the next chapter could get better. And I think that's the important thing to do. By speaking about things, we can make the book better, make the book end how we want it to end. Yeah, routine's a big thing, isn't it? And I've had routine in the army where you get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, you get a wash and a shave, you put your uniform on, and you're good to go. And I think it's good to try and keep in that routine. So if you do go to the gym every day, or you go for a run every day, kind of trying to stick with that routine and carry on doing that. I think have some time to yourself. You know, maybe sit down, listen to some podcasts nowadays, what you can do, read a book, you know, that's fantastic. Get outside in nature, you know, go for a walk, and that's probably my best advice, really. You know, it might sound a bit morbid, but during the lockdown period, I used to go to the local cemetery because it's really quiet. There's like rabbits jumping about, squirrels about everywhere. You can see the changes in nature, and you can just sit and maybe reflect and, you know, spend some time with your kids if you've got kids or grandkids. They're always laughing and joking, aren't they, and having fun. And laughter is a good medicine, isn't it? And, you know, go on Zoom and Zoom one of your mates, or call one of your friends and have a bit of a laugh and a joke and things like that, I think. But just maybe give yourself time, just give yourself that bit of time, and just don't think that there's only you suffering with what you're suffering with. Every man suffers with anxiety and depression and doubt and all these kind of things that men go through. They carry a big burden round with them, don't they? But all men will feel exactly the same. And if you say to your friend, listen, I'm not 100% today, no, give him a chance to listen and talk. I think that's the most important thing. Yeah, I think they're just absolutely fantastic, aren't they? You know, and unfortunately, you know, from being in the armed force and the conflicts I've gone through, I've had quite a few friends who've maybe not dealt with it in the best way that I have, and unfortunately they have taken their own lives, you know. So I just think it's difficult knowing that they just didn't feel they could speak out, and that's all they had to do was just maybe ask the right question or have the right platform in place where if they did feel embarrassed about speaking out, or they did feel that they couldn't speak out in person to someone, they can go on a platform, they can press a button, they can speak to someone in the car at dinner time when they're on the lunch break, or the wife's gone to bed, and they can nip downstairs, jump on the platform, have a chat with someone one-to-one anonymously if they don't want to show their face or whatever. And it could have just saved their lives, just start speaking, you know. And I think if I had not sports at Padre, maybe in Afghan, things could have turned out very, very differently. Things could have turned out very differently when I come back from Afghan if I'd not spoke to friends and family about how I was feeling, how I'm depressed about the situation that I was in. And I think that speaking saves people's lives. So I think that's why there's just a fantastic organisation giving people the opportunity just to be able to speak anonymously. You know, we know in work, don't we? If you if you put your hand up and say to your boss, I've got depression, you may not be given that next big project that's going to go forward, or in the armed forces possibly you're not going to get them promoted because you've got this mental health issues. So I think by being able to speak to someone anonymously, you can solve your issues, get back to where you need to be in life, get back to that level of where you were before, and push on. And I think that's a big game changer, I think, with this, is that you can just do it anonymously, and hence the word of the company. Yeah.